What's good, y'all? L Famous, living my life, not thinking about it twice. Don't be scared to like, subscribe, or share. It's dope content if you like it. Let's get it. Yeah, let's get it. Now this joint right here is about old Webster. Yeah, man, old Webster. And last time I did the 1200s, you know what I'm saying? Cause Webster Projects from 168 all the way to like 171. You heard? It's called the 1200s, the 1300s, and the 1400s. And last time I told y'all I was going to talk about the 1300s next, but I'm going to skip the 1300s and I'm going to talk about the 1400s. Yeah, the 1400s, you heard? Yeah. Now, I told y'all in past videos when I broke down into you, the 1400s was like one of the most official parts of Webster Projects. You heard? Like, the dudes in the 1400s always was tough, you know what I'm saying? Them niggas always was they always was funny, you know what I'm saying? And they always like kind of like stuck together. You heard? Like where the other sections they was always broken up. Like the 1200s was broken up to different crews, and it's still like that to this day. The 1200s was broken up to different crews. The 1300 was broken up to little different crews, but really it was only one really crew. It was a few crews in the 1300s, but in the 1300s, it was really only one crew that was known for being crazy and wild and everything, and that was Larry O and them. You heard? Them dudes always was known for bugging out in the 1300s. So, but the 1400s always had dudes, the older dudes, the young dudes, and it was always like they always was tight. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't go down in the 1400s with that bullshit. You heard? But it was a time when Larry O in the 1300s was running down on all parts of the Webster with that bullshit, and they was especially running down on the 14s. But that's another story. Now look, I remember when I used to be when I first started going through because I started like I told you, I started on web in the 1200s. You heard? Then I started being in like going through the 1300s, messing with my guy Dory, and you know what I'm saying, my guy 50, you know what I'm saying, and you heard you got Daniel, you know what I'm saying, and all of them from the 1300s. But then I skipped over and started messing with the niggas in the 1400s. My nigga Master, you heard, Duke Mafia, you know what I'm saying, my man Have, you understand what I'm saying, the legendary Frazier. He from the 1400s, but I'm gonna keep him out of this story because he got his own story coming up. You know what I'm saying? I got the 1990 Frazier, you heard, coming, you heard, and I got his life story coming, the comeback kid story, you heard. So it's gonna be fire, and so I'm keeping him out of this 1400 joint. But mainly in the 1400s, it was a lot of characters in the 1400s. A lot of characters, a lot of thugs, a lot of gangsters, a lot of everything. You understand what I'm saying? And it's so many of them dudes, I can't even name all of them. You heard? I can't even name all of them. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't even know all of them. You know what I'm saying? But I know I was outside. I was running through Web, running through the 9, running through the West Side, running through Uptown, running through everywhere. You heard? Nigga, Webster was my favorite spot to be going, favorite hood to go through. You heard? Besides the West Side, Webster was my favorite hood to go through. So when I started going through the 1400s, when I started, I knew a lot of dudes from the 1400s because I went to TAF, right? You have my guy Jason, always, he was from the 1400s, you understand what I'm saying? Me and Jason got a long relationship back to 166 when Jason used to be Jason, Emmanuel, and Richard, you heard? And these dudes, Jason, Emmanuel, and Richard, they was like the strongest dudes in 8th grade, you know what I'm saying? Everybody knew them niggas was running around like action figures, you heard? Jason, Emmanuel, and Richard, you heard? 3 niggas, and Jason was from Web, the 1400. So me and Jason had a good, tight relationship. That's like my brother, you know what I'm saying? And then when I went to TAF, I met his younger brothers, Lloyd and Master. You understand what I'm saying? So now look, I met Lloyd, Master, May May brother, you heard, and Vincent, you heard, and Willie Ding Ding, my guy L, you heard, my guy, you know what I'm saying, Tab Days, you know, that's the first 1,400 niggas I met, like, you know, from Web and Tab, you know what I'm saying, those niggas I just named, you know what I'm saying, and then I developed an extra bond with them through my guy Born Savior. Rest in peace to my guy Born Savior from uptown. Everybody know my guy, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He used to run around with the dogs and all that. But my guy back in the days used to be a fresh dude, you know what I'm saying? Stay fresh, you know what I'm saying? Up there past 240 and all that, you heard? You know what I'm saying? My guy Born Savior. So he had you know, introduced me to them too. But I already knew them from Tab, but I really got acquainted with dudes through Born Savior, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to my guy. And so those was the first like 1,400 dudes, brothers that I met, you know what I'm saying? Before I started really meeting the gangsters. This is when those were the first dudes that I met. And then Lloyd and Master, I met Master a little later, but I met Lloyd first, Jason younger brother. And that's my man too. So and then a couple years later I met the little brother Master. That's my guy. You heard? That's my guy. You heard? That was like my little brother, man. You heard? So basically, and everything, you know, like I said, I knew Lloyd, Vincent, May, Al, Willie Ding Ding. You know what I'm saying? I knew all them niggas, you know what I'm saying? And then basically, I started hearing about the gangster niggas from Web, you know what I'm saying? Niggas like Lil Duke Mafia, Los, I knew Little Fabian. Fabian went to Taft with me too. It's my man Fabian, God bless the dead Fabian, you heard? You know what I'm saying? But Duke Mafia, Los, and Fabian, and Russ, they had a mean clique, you heard? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my man Russ, you heard? From Webster, you heard? You know what I'm saying? And I can't forget my guy Punkin from the 1400s. Yeah, Punkin. Punkin was one of the first dudes from the 1400s I met too, my guy Punkin, right? So, So I know all them. Then I started hearing about the gangsters. Los. You heard? Duke Mafia. You heard? They wasn't calling them Duke Mafia. They was calling them Duke. And Fabian and Russ. You heard? They was coming up to Tab. And every time I was hearing that they was sticking up the dice games and all that. But I was hearing that they was sticking up dice games on Webster too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my nigga Duke was crazy. I told y'all, nigga Duke turned into a beast. Duke always been a little guy, running around with the small man complex. But when that nigga always had an attitude, and that nigga don't hesitate to put it in. You heard? That nigga's drama king. I told y'all niggas. You heard? Duke, my man Duke Mafia. And I started hearing about them dudes, and then I never was at a dice game that they came up and robbed. You heard? So boom, I get locked up. I meet Duke. Told y'all the story about Duke, how we went out with Latin King niggas. We had a mean Bronx mob that turned into just a straight up gangster mob. You know what I'm saying? On the island in 1994, Six Upper. You heard? He went home crazy. You heard? You know what I'm saying? Went back. But Duke is crazy in the street. Duke is drama king in the street. First of all, Duke he started robbing the dice games on the block. You heard? Now, when niggas rob the dice games on the block, 9 times out of it, you robbing niggas you grew up with. You heard? You robbing niggas you grew up with. This nigga Duke is a crazy nigga. He used to let them niggas start playing dice out there. Then he'll come and rob the dice game. You heard? They let that nigga get away with that shit like 2 or 3 times and there was nothing that niggas could do to them. You heard? It was nothing that niggas could do to him because he was on his shit. You heard? He was running around on his shit. You know what I'm saying? Him, Los, and Fabian, them niggas had a mean clique. Them niggas was running around doing everything. Busting their gun, getting money, taking money, doing it all, you heard? And then Duke, he used to be bugging by himself, you know what I'm saying? So Duke, like I told you, he was short, little, he had the little man complex. I remember he caught beef with Larry O and them niggas one time. Yeah, B. Caught beef with Larry O and them niggas. It was Duke versus Larry O and them niggas. And Larry O and them niggas had a mean team. Them niggas had them niggas had a mean team. Them niggas was only like 13, 14, and 15. And them niggas had one of the meanest teams on Webster. Word to my mother. Them niggas was kids. They had one of the meanest teams on Webster. You heard? And then Duke had beef with them niggas. Duke had beef with them niggas. Only Duke. Not Lowe's, not Fabian, not nobody else. Only Duke. That shit was crazy. You heard? That shit was crazy. Duke was going at them niggas. Them niggas went and shot up Duke's door. That's how real it was. They shot that nigga door up. You heard? Know what I'm saying? And then them niggas wound up getting cool. Well, him and Larry O wound up getting cool because them niggas, Larry O and them niggas respected Duke gangster. You know what I'm saying? Duke was going at niggas by himself. Little crazy nigga, B. That's the nigga that brought me home to Damu. Rest in peace to Duke, man. I miss that nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? That's my nigga, you heard? And, yeah, so I already met Duke. I already was with Duke, you heard? So when Duke went back home that time in 9-4, that nigga was bugging out, man. That nigga was bugging out, you heard? And you know when niggas be in the projects bugging out, they be just bugging out, man. Getting into all kind of beefs, shootouts, you heard? Arguments, turning to shootouts, all that shit. But in the 1400s, you had a lot of the gangsters in the 1400s. And Duke came up a little nigga and all that, but when he got to a certain age, that nigga started letting that hammer go. You heard? That nigga started letting that hammer go. So after a while, all that little man shit, I think he grew out of that little man shit. You heard? In prison. You heard? And you had two brothers on Web. Well, actually it was three of them. You know what I'm saying? You had Red, Little Red, and Big Red. You heard? Now back in the days, you used to always hear dudes talk from Webster. Used to hear about Red, and a lot of times niggas was talking about Big Red. You heard? Because it was a dude out there. It was two brothers. One was called Little Red, and one was called Big Red. And Big Red was a diesel, light-skinned nigga, and they said that nigga was like a bully, you know what I'm saying? They said that nigga used to be on it, you heard? You know what I'm saying? And he had a little brother named Little Red, and Little Red was like the opposite of him, but more just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than his bigger brother, Big Red. You heard? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that was his bigger brother, just because he was big, or because the nigga Big Red they used to have Big Red and Little Red. And I met the older brother. He was one of the first Bloods I met when I got locked up in 1996. I was in the Bronx house, and I met their big brother, THA. You heard? And I think he was going by Uptown. You know what I'm saying? And he was the first Blood I met in 1995. And he wound up telling me, yeah, them my little brothers, you heard? And they was both locked up. All three of them was locked up at one time, you know what I'm saying? You heard? Little Red did a lot of time, you know what I'm saying? And these niggas used to be terrors out there on Webster. You used to be hearing about them niggas doing shit and all that. You always heard about Red this, Big Red this, Big Red that. You know what I'm saying? You always heard them niggas into shit. Niggas on Web doing dirt, getting money. You heard? Terrorizing shit. I'm gonna keep it official. A lot of people in the Bronx don't go through that Webster area like that unless they got family or they know that area. You heard? You know what I'm saying? Web is one place where people be scared to go through. You heard? But I've never been scared to go through Web. I always went through Web. Like that shit was my second home or my first home, B. I'm keeping it real, B. So back in the days, you had Red and them niggas. You had Troy Campbell and them niggas. You know what I'm saying? You had Delmar and his brother Troy. You heard? Yo, I remember I met them going out there, being out there. Them niggas be snapping on niggas, playing dice. You heard? You know what I'm saying? Bugging out. You heard? Those was the official tough niggas. You heard? You know what I'm saying? Growing up on Web, you know what I'm saying? The 1400s, Delmar and his brother Troy and them niggas. You heard? And Troy Campbell and all them niggas. And my man Hab and all them niggas. You heard? You know what I'm saying? So them niggas, the older niggas, them niggas always been the truth out there on Webster. You know what I'm saying? Doing what they do, laughing, joking, keeping Web alive. You heard? And then you had the up and coming niggas. You heard, like, you know, you had G Boogie Glenn. You heard he played the Rucker. You heard, salute to Glenn. He just came home after doing a lot of time. So my man had people. You know what I'm saying? He played the Rucker. I remember 1995 going to the Rucker. He tearing them niggas up down there. You heard, busting them niggas ass. He playing for that dude Barry. You heard? Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? I think he was playing for him. You heard? But yeah, big. That nigga Glenn, G Boogie, I think they was calling him G Boogie at the joint. I don't know what they was calling him at the Rucker, but he had his shine at the Rucker. You heard? And the skip to my Lou years. Yeah, nigga, the real time when niggas was balling. You heard? Master Rob and them niggas, the future. Ali Mo, God bless the dead. Ali Mo, rest in peace. You had Dribbling Shane, you had Kareem Reed, you know what I'm saying? You heard, yeah. I'm telling you, those was the years at the Rucker, you heard? And G Boogie was playing, you heard? He was a regular nigga from the projects playing at the Rucker, but that's how nice he was, you heard? G Boogie probably could have went to the NBA, you heard? See how it is, man, for us in the hood, man, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, salute to G Boogie, you know what I'm saying? You had G Boogie, you know what I'm saying? It was... some shit happened with G Boogie one time with my man Master, B. But yeah, B. But yeah, man, that shit was crazy, man. My man Master was my nigga, though. You heard? Master was my nigga, B. That's my guy, Ja Ray's little brother, man. That's my guy. Rest in peace to my guy, man. You heard? He was a little gangster, nigga. You heard? I remember when I came around Web one day. It's like 1995. Shit ain't going right in my hood. You know how like you become the black sheep. Like nobody wanna fuck with you. Nobody wanna get no money with you. Nobody. It's like you rubbed a lot of people wrong, but you don't even know how. But just by being you. And I think I was at that phase at that time in my life. You know what I'm saying? And it drifted me over to Webster. I used to go to like the Webster to be around my Webster niggas to get like a relief. You heard, from being in my hood. You heard, when I got tired of my hood, I go to Web and fuck with the real niggas, cause it was different kind of love, man. Different kind of realness. You know what I'm saying? And it always was get money, get high. You heard, get fly. You know, it was always, that's what it was all about. Going on Web and the 9 and everything. So I started going through. I was just trotting over the Web. And matter of fact, my best friend Parks, he was downtown hustling in Harlem, and I really wasn't down. I really wasn't in the hustling mode, you know, doing that type of shit down there at the time. So I was trying over the Webster, and I wound up bumping into my guy Master, and just so happened that he was going through it because both of his brothers, his older brothers, was in jail at the time. One of them was facing a body, and the other one was facing bad time on some robbery shit, you know what I'm saying? So he was going through it. So in a way, like, he, you know what I'm saying, it was like he felt like he was lonely, and he felt like his brothers kind of like left him out there, you heard? You know what I'm saying? By himself, because that's how he felt, you know what I'm saying? Because he was going through little shit too on the block, but he was Master was getting to his bag, you heard, doing what he do. So I just ran into him. I was going through it. He was going through it. And he was like, oh, and he know that I'm his older brother, one of his older brother's good friend. You know what I'm saying? He know this. You know what I'm saying? So he like, oh shit, what up, lad? I'm like, hey, what up, Master? No. Next thing you know, I'm chilling with this nigga. I'm chilling with this nigga Master every day. I'm coming around. We doing our thing. We taking money. You heard? We talking about shit. He put me on to everything that's going on Web. You heard? And then another thing was, he had gave me a gun. So I was like, he was like, yo, lad, you want a gun? So I was like, what kind of gun? Like a 22 or 25? I think it was a 22 or 25 or something. You heard? I was like, yeah, I want a gun. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you can have it. You heard? I said, oh shit, nigga gave me a gun. I was bugging for nothing out of nowhere. You heard? You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, put it in my house. You know what I'm saying? I'm rolling with my man every day. We running around. You know what I'm saying? We doing shit. We going shopping. We coming through. We going to the liquor store. We copping licks. We running into shorties. We slobbing down shorties. We doing our thing, B. You heard? My man, Master, yo, it was even so crazy, man. I would, man, that was my nigga Master, man. That was my bro, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, man. You know what I'm saying? Last time I talked to him, I was in jail. My man, I called, my man Have went home and wrote me, sent me the number. I called, and I called the nigga, and I talked, and he put Master on the phone. You heard? You know what I'm saying? And that was the last time I talked to my man, and I think my man passed away like a month or two after I talked to him, B. You know what I'm saying? And I was sick, man. I was sick, man. Him and my guy Angelo, you know what I'm saying, and my guy Chris, they died while I was in jail, you know what I'm saying? And my little brother, you know what I'm saying, died, and my aunt died, and I had a lot of people that died. I found out three people died and that was close to me in 1 week. You heard? And I was in the box, you know what I'm saying? My man Angelo died. I found out my aunt died and my little brother died. You heard? All in 1 week, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't even go to my little brother's funeral. My grandmother didn't even tell me, you heard? My grandmother didn't even tell me my little brother died. My friends had to write me and tell me a month later after my brother died. You heard? I went through some shit, B. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even remember talking to my little brother for the last time. You heard? You know what I'm saying? My little brother died. Grandma didn't even tell me. I was in a box, a nap, doing 16 months, 15 months in a box. My little brother died. My grandma didn't even tell me. And I found out my little brother died through a letter. You heard? The same week I found out my boy comrade Angelo, God bless the dead, died, and my aunt died. You heard? My aunt, one of my close aunts that was dead from when I was a baby. You know what I'm saying? So it was deep. You know what I'm saying? It was deep. But yeah, Master was my guy. You know what I'm saying? My guy, man. You heard? And I remember before the last time I seen him, I'm gonna show you how much this dude Master was my guy. We was running around in the street doing what we do. I told the story. We ran in the Bimo, salute the Bimo, he home. You heard? After doing about 30 pieces, you heard? Bimo home from Sex Money Murder. You heard? The old Sex Money Murder, the old Castle Hill. You heard? We ran into Bimo one day, and Bimo had a Spanish little nigga with him. You heard? And he loved Master. Bimo, if he see this, he remember Master. He loved him, Master. Yo, he went in his pocket. Master told him he was fucked up. He went in his pocket, pulled out a brick, $100, gave Master some money. You heard? You know what I'm saying? We went straight to the smoke spot. You heard? Bimo stopped us, helped us out. We ain't had to rob nobody that day. You heard? That nigga gave Master some money. He gave him enough money where nigga gave me a couple of dollars, and we went to the smoke spot, went to the liquor store, and went and sat on Web like we did, like we just robbed the bank. You heard? You know what I'm saying? That was my guy. You heard? And he loved Bimo. You heard? I remember when we was, he was talking to Bimo. Bimo was talking to him. He introduced me to Bimo. Bimo might not even remember this. He just did 30 pieces. You heard? And but he remembered Master though, because he loved Master, and Master loved him. And Master, I remember we was walking off from Bimo, and this little man, Bimo had a little Spanish nigga with him that didn't even know English. You heard? And Bimo pointed all that out while we was in the conversation. He was like, "Yeah, my little man, he don't even know English, B. You heard? He don't even know English. You know what I'm saying? Little nigga ain't even know English, B. You heard? So I was fascinated because I've been hearing about this dude for a couple of years now, and I heard about him through my man Bimo in 1994. That's his man, you heard? That's why salute to my man Bimo. He out, they reunited, friendship, brotherhood, you heard? So that's them, you heard? And so I always knew about Bimo, you heard? Pistol, all of them, you know what I'm saying? Know about that shit from 1994, you know what I'm saying? When Pistol came up to see the twin with the big ass chain on with the piece and everything, you heard? You know what I'm saying? What's up, bro? You know, heard nigga with the big ass chain and piece, you heard? So, you know what I'm saying? I always knew about Pistol and them niggas since 9-4. I was at Harlem Week the day that shit happened, you heard? Like I told you, I used to be in the key all the time. I used to be in the fever when niggas used to come through. I used to be in a tunnel, you heard? I used to be around them niggas. I was used to be around in the Rucker when they used to come through. So I grew up around that shit, you heard? Up amongst that shit. I was even at the key that night when the big fight happened with him and that nigga Carter, you heard? So, like I said, I've been around and I've been in these streets. So salute to Bimo, just did 30, he home. So it is what it is, right? So my man Master, we walked off, went to the block, went and got some smoke. He hit me with a couple of dollars. He was telling me more about Bimo, how their relationship, how he love him and how he respect him. I'm like, oh, all right. And I see that how Bimo had love for him because Master was like, yeah, what up, Mo? I'm fucked up. Nigga, pulled out a brick. Pulled out a brick of hundreds, you heard? Put out a brick of hundreds on him, you heard? Put out a brick of hundreds. You know what I'm saying? But his brick was bigger than this. His brick was like this, you heard? Put out a brick of hundreds. You know what I'm saying? Gave Master like 200 or some shit. You know what I'm saying? We skated off, you heard? Where the mother be? I was like, yeah, be more official, you heard? And my man Master, all the gangsters love him, you know what I'm saying? All the gangsters love him from the 1400s, you heard? Yeah. Niggas, my man Master, funny nigga too. He was one of the funniest niggas in the world, you heard? One of the funniest niggas in the world, you heard? So rest in peace to my guy Master, you know what I'm saying? And who else I'm gonna talk about from the 1400s, you heard? Got my guy Have out there, you heard? You got a lot of niggas from the 1400s, you heard? Official niggas out there, you heard? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you got my guy Punkin, you heard? That's my guy, always been my guy from Tab, you heard? House parties, clubs, fever, you heard? Yeah, Webster, you always represented in the fever too. Niggas stayed in the fever, stayed in the rumba, you heard? I used to do it up with my niggas from the 9, you heard? That's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell y'all niggas about the 9 one day. You heard? The old 9, yeah. The old 169 in Washington, you heard? YG, Winnie, you heard? All the old niggas, you heard? The official niggas, the niggas that made the 9. You heard? Crusader Roth, you heard? From Web, you heard? Salute to him, you know what I'm saying? Salute to Ron Dude from Washington, you heard? Salute to a lot of the official G's that put Web, Washington, and all that shit on the map. For real. You know what I'm saying? The OGs, rest in peace to the dude, Bear. You heard? The homie Bear from Webster and from Uptown. You heard? You know what I'm saying? You heard? Yeah, B. Webster had a lot of official cats out of it. You heard? Rest in peace to Ed Bwell. You heard? Yeah, B. I gotta come back with another part 2 to Ed Bwell. I ain't say everything about Ed Bwell. When I did the Ed Bwell story, I got calls talking about, yo, why you ain't call me? It's mad shit you forgot about Ed Bwell. Yeah, nigga. Ed Bwell, man. You heard? Know what I'm saying? You had Ed Bwell. You had THA. You had Terry Barker. You had mad niggas, man. You had mad niggas, man. That's why I said I'm bringing it down, and you know, I'm gonna give everybody they due. You heard? I'm gonna get a 9 they due. I'm gonna even give Maxwell Park they due. You heard? Yeah, up there with Maxwell Park, 170, 171 in Washington. You heard? Where the pool used to be. Remember they used to have a pool back there? Back in the days, they used to have a pool, a little project pool, nigga. Yeah, nigga. Who remember the project pool? I remember I used to be in that shit, nigga. I used to be in that shit as a kid, nigga. The project pool back there in Maxwell Park. 170, 171 in Washington, in 3rd Avenue. You heard it was on the 3rd Avenue side. Man, Claremont Center. Yeah, I played for that nigga. I played for that basketball nigga, the nigga that used to run the league. Forgot that nigga name. You heard? The nigga used to run the basketball league for Claremont Center in the summer tournament. Across the street from the Claremont Center, the park. I played in them tournaments as a kid. You heard? So I always grew up on Webster, Washington, 3rd Avenue, the 9. I always knowing about them schools. I already knew about them gangsters. I always knew about them thugs, you know what I'm saying? I grew up messing with them chicks, all that, nigga. You heard? You know what I'm saying? So, 1400s was the shit, nigga. You heard? I used to go to 1400s on my G'd up shit, you heard? You know what I'm saying? Niggas be out there official, getting money, fly, fucking with the bitches, talking shit, snapping, and niggas is tough. You know what I'm saying? And niggas do their jailhouse shit. And all the niggas from the 1400s that go through jail, they definitely keep it real. A lot of them, all of them. You heard? You had Bo Diddley. You heard? You had Barney. Salute to Barney, he home. You heard? OSSM, Old Sex Money Murder, you heard? Barney, you heard? Yeah. Barney and Bimo home. Salute to both of them. Official, tissue, you heard? One day me and Barney was handcuffed, coming from court. And I was a young G and he was an OG at that time. He was a young nigga, older than me, but he was considered an OG at that time. I knew who he was, but he didn't know who I was because I was a young G. I knew he was Blow Barney from Webster down with Pistol Pete and them niggas. You heard? You know what I'm saying? Old Sex Money Murder. You heard? So I was like, yeah. And when I started kicking, like, yeah, I know niggas. I'm from the hood. I know everybody from where, you know. And I started naming everybody from the 1400s and all that. He was like, oh shit, the nigga got mad cool with me on that bus ride back from court. You heard? And we was talking about everybody. You heard? And he was like, matter of fact, we was both in the HDM together. I was in 5 block and he was in 2 block with Lord at the time. You heard? Him and Lord was in the same block in HDM. We was in HDM together. I was going to court and he was going to court and we was handcuffed together, me and Blow. You heard? Barney. You heard? So, official tissue niggas, you know what I'm saying? 1400s keep official dudes, you know what I'm saying? And you heard 1400s official, man. There's a lot of niggas I might have left out, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, their story ain't ready to be told right now, you heard? You got my guy Los. He from the 1400 official nigga. You know what I'm saying? Grimy nigga, did his dirt, did his time. You heard? Came home, and he home winning right now. You heard? So salute the Los. You heard? You know what I'm saying? You got Satan from the 1400s. You know what I'm saying? You got my guy Waterbed Head from the 1400s, Sterling. You heard? You got mad other crazy niggas. You got Kid Hank. You heard? That just came home. He official. You heard? I always heard he was official from the 1400s. So like I said, it's a lot of niggas from the 1400s that's official that I just ain't mentioned or I didn't tell no stories about because I'm gonna save it for another time. You heard? If the story is valid, if I gotta tell it, I'll tell it. But basically, the 1400s always been official. You know what I'm saying? You heard Frazier out the 1400s. Telling you the 1400s is official. You heard? All the heavy hitters, niggas that been holding it down, inside, outside and inside. You understand what I'm saying? You heard? They the only niggas that that could hold down the whole web, man. Them niggas always held down the whole web, man. You know what I'm saying? They fuck with everybody. Everybody fuck with them. You know, back in the days, it's different than now. Now it's a little more split up. You got the 1200s, the 1300s, the 1400s, the 9. You heard? Everybody doing their own thing. You heard? But back in the days, it was more love. It was everybody was doing their own thing, but everybody used to trot through each area. You know what I'm saying? Now only certain niggas trot through each area because niggas don't really fuck with everybody in each area no more. But back in the days, it was way more gangster shit and way more unity. You heard? And it was you had Baldy. No, not Baldy. Baldy from the 1300s. You had Smokey, the nigga Smokey from the 1400s. You had a lot of niggas. You had a lot of niggas from the 1400s, B. You heard? So just like I told y'all, I was going to tell y'all, I supposed to told y'all about the 1300s, but I'm gonna say the 1300s because that's Larry O and them, and I think they got they was terrorizing the hood crazy themselves. So when I tell that story, I gotta tell that story, B. I gotta let y'all know the LO before all that gang shit. You heard? You know what I'm saying? Because LO been a gangster, B. He been Larry, man. Before he was LO and before he was Larry O, he was Larry, man. You heard? And it's funny that me and him got the same name. And I'm gonna keep it real, man. It's only two Larrys in the Bronx growing up at my time that I could remember hearing that was crazy. No matter of fact, I'm wrong. Let me correct that. It was 3 Larrys. It was one on Davidson. Yeah, crazy Larry from Davidson. You heard? It was a Danny and my man Eddie brother, God bless the dead Eddie, that got killed from the family. You heard? When I tell my West Side story, I'm gonna talk about the family. You heard? My guy Eddie from Davidson, Jamaican Eddie, crazy Larry and Danny brother. You heard? That was my man. You know what I'm saying? That was my man. Crazy, my man Eddie had the brother named Crazy Larry, nigga. So it was only 3 Larrys in the Bronx, and he was older than us. You heard? Me and Larry is about the same age, and I always been Larry. He always was Larry, and then when he went to jail, it changed to Larry O. First it was Sincere, then it was Larry O. Then it went to LO. You heard? And then you had the other nigga uptown, older nigga that was getting money, crazy nigga, Crazy Larry from uptown, brothers to Danny and Eddie. You heard? Eddie's my man. I'm gonna tell that story. I'm tell them stories one day. The Davidson stories. You heard? 174, crazy, off the wall, off the hook. The only block where every summer at least 3 niggas gonna die. You heard? That you know. At least 3 niggas gonna die that you know every summer that you talk to every day is gonna die. That shit is crazy. Davidson, that hood up there, you heard? McCoon's Road and all that, nigga. It was crazy back in the 90s, nigga. It was calling that shit Body Central, nigga, up there, nigga. That nigga Body Road, nigga. Niggas was killing niggas all day, bodying niggas, shooting niggas. Nigga, if you wasn't on it like that up there, you wasn't supposed to be up there, B. Up there McCoon's Road, Davidson Ave. You heard? Yeah, I'm gonna get into them stories one day.